Well, hello again. Welcome back, everybody. It is Tuesday, which means you're here for a story, and I think I might have one for you. Let me see. Stephen Cosgrove, is that who you're looking for? Leo the Lop? That's what we're going to read then. Leo the Lop by Stephen Cosgrove, here on Mr. Eric Reads. In a warm, gentle corner of a soft green forest, a whole bunch of bunnies were born. They were so many bunnies. You almost wouldn't believe it. That's right. There were white ones, brown ones, even some with spots, and every one of them had a pink nose, fluffy white tail, and two pointed ears that stood straight up in the air. All of them, of course, except for Leo the Lop. No, it wasn't that Leo didn't have a little nose or a fluffy tail, because for that he did. What he didn't have were ears that stood straight up in the air. Instead of standing up, they hung straight down. That didn't really matter to Leo because he thought he was just as normal as could be. Besides, he couldn't see his ears anyway. Day by day, as the rabbits got older, they began to notice that Leo was slightly different. The more they looked at him, the funnier it seemed. It got so bad that the entire burrow of bunnies would roll on the ground holding their sides in fits of laughter every time that Leo walked by. I mean, you've got to admit that a rabbit walking around with his ears dragging in the dirt is pretty funny. Now, Leo was very confused. He didn't see anything so funny about the way he looked. His fur was the same. His tail was the same. As far as Leo was concerned, he was perfectly normal. Finally, out of frustration, he asked, How come you guys are always laughing at me? For a moment, the other rabbits tried to be serious, but they just couldn't hold back their laughter. One of the rabbits finally blurted out, "It's your ears, you dope! They drag on the ground! You aren't normal!" Leo looked down, and sure enough, there were his ears dangling in the dust. I guess Leo was kind of hurt. He really didn't feel any different than the other rabbits, but because his ears hung down instead of up, he wasn't normal. He thought, all I need is to exercise a little bit, and then my ears will stand up just like all the normal rabbits. So, with that in his mind, he struggled and strained, trying to make them stand up. Unfortunately, the best he could do was to get them to stick straight out, and he could only do that for a minute. Then, no matter how hard he tried, they would flop back down to the ground in a puff of dust. Well, thought Leo, that didn't work. Maybe if I show my ears which way to go, they'll get the idea and they'll go there on their own. So very carefully, he climbed a tree, and very cautiously, he hooked his hind legs around a branch, and then he dangled upside down. Sure enough, his ears hung straight down. Leo must have hung that way for nearly an hour when a voice made him look around.
What you doing that for?"
spoke the voice. Leo looked around, and there, right before him, hanging from another branch, was a possum. "Well," said Leo, feeling a little foolish, I'm hanging upside down so that my ears will learn which way they're supposed to go so I can be a normal rabbit."
What's normal?"
asked the possum.
"Before, when I saw you on the ground, your ears looked normal. Now they look upside down."
Leo thought, and he didn't even have an answer to give the possum. So with a flip, he dropped to the ground. He thought, if my ears going down are normal, then the other rabbits with their ears going up aren't normal. And the more he thought about the other rabbits, the funnier it became. With a laugh and a giggle, he raced off to tell the other rabbits what he had discovered. In bursts of laughter, he told the other rabbits what he had found out, and at first they didn't know whether to believe him. And then they started to look at one another and realized that Leo could be right. "Oh dear, what are we going to do?" they cried. "Hey, I've got an idea," said one of the rabbits, and he picked up 2 big rocks, and with some twine he tied them to the ends of his ears. Sure enough, that weighted his ears all the way to the ground, and they drooped lower and lower and lower. Seeing his success, the other rabbits ran around trying to pick up rocks and tying them to their ears. Everything would have been all right except for one small problem. The rocks and the ears kept getting all tangled up in tails and feet till there was all confusion, with bunnies lying on top of one another in a dusty heap. "This isn't going to work," they said. There's just got to be a better way." Maybe," said a furry little bunny, "if we showed our ears the way that they should be normally, they will go that way naturally." So they very carefully climbed a tree, and after tying their ears to the branch, they gently hooked their legs and swung over and hung upside down. Sure enough, every one of those bunnies' ears hung up instead of down. They must have hung that way for a long time when a voice made them look around.
What you doing that for?"
asked the voice. They looked, and then right before them, hanging from the branch, was that very same possum. "Well," they said, feeling a little dumb, "we're hanging this way so that our ears will be normal, like Leo's."
What's normal?" asked the possum. "Before, when I saw you guys all on the ground, your ears looked normal. Now they look upside down."
They all thought and thought, and they couldn't really answer that question either. Carefully, they untied their ears and flip-flopped to the ground below. The rabbits thought and thought, if we're normal and Leo is normal, then normal is whatever you are. So with a hop and a giggle, they raced off to tell Leo what they had learned. And after listening to their story, Leo had to agree that normal is whatever you are. And from that day forward, the rabbits of the burrow lived very normal lives in the soft, warm forest. So, if you are a rabbit and your ears go down, try to remember Leo and the lesson that he found. Now, Leo did still have one small problem. His ears always drooped in his soup. The end. That was Stephen Cosgrove's Leo the Lop here on Mr. Eric Reads. And the message is quite simple, and you've heard it from me before, and you'll hear it again. You are perfect the way you are. So be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. I'm glad you stuck around to come listen to another summer story with Mr. Eric here. Take care of yourselves, guys. Please stay safe, wash your hands, and in everything you do today and tomorrow and forever, practice kindness. See you guys around.